Hey Joe, this is Daniel Touche. How you doing?
Doing all right. What can I help you with?
Well, I am calling you as a buyer. I'm curious about the property on Portwest.
Yes. So let's see. Right now, that is listed at, I believe, $440.
Okay.
HOA dues are, I think, only like $195 a year, which is, what, 17 or $18 a month or something.
Yeah.
No special assessments. So it's reasonably priced, at least on an ongoing basis. 4-bed, 3-bath. The main floor. I apologize. I just landed at the airport like an hour ago, so I'm gonna take a minute here.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think the whole house is about 3,100 feet, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
It does have a dock. It's not wooden, so it's not going to rot or anything like that. It does have full access to the lake, which is about 135 acres. Single owner ever since it was built in 1990. So, I mean, frankly, it needs some siding repairs, which I have already gotten from my cider. I'm the builder in Harbor Isle right now, my dad and I.
Yeah.
So we've got lots of subcontractors that are willing and able and also reasonably priced. They do good work and they also show up.
Joe, did you actually...
I wouldn't keep using them if they didn't.
Yeah. Did you actually come out to the Camp Hiawatha property when that was for sale?
I think I did.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a commercial broker at JPY again.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah, I was one of the listing brokers on that property. I was like, I know I met your dad. Then, as we're sitting here talking, I was like, I think Joe was there too.
Yep.
Okay.
We did a walkthrough, and was that YMCA that ended up with that?
Yeah, it was the Y.
That's good.
Yeah, that was like a best situation
out of
possible.
All the potential buyers for that property, they're the ones that have an actual coordinated direction, and I'm glad that was able to get turned over into good hands.
Yeah, 100%. That was absolutely the best situation that could come for that seller and probably for the buyer too. Look for the type of property that they were looking for their like summer programs and stuff.
Oh yeah. That's a pretty specific use property. Not to mention, you didn't have to go by on the outskirts of town.
Yeah.
Now, North Side has been a little bit slow to expand, but we're picking up steam here, and
100%.
It's better there than 3 or 4 miles or however many it would have to be down the road. So
yeah,
that was a good deal. But as far as this house, let's see, single owner since '90. It's got a few updates throughout.
Yeah,
like new like true wood floors, not vinyl or laminate or anything like that. New carpet, new counters in the kitchen, but it could definitely use some siding on the outside, which I have my guy that gave a bid of $1,500 as far as labor to fix anything that was dinged up. Now, that doesn't include re-siding the entire house. That doesn't include material, but, that's who I've had do work at my own house. That's who my dad and uncle have had do theirs, and the signs at the moorings. That's his. So I mean, he's a reasonable guy, and again does not include material, but that could be taken care of before close if you had a buyer.
What are the rental restrictions in the moorings? My folks actually live down the street, so I'm pretty familiar with the area. But what are the rental restrictions?
Well, let's see. Right now, I don't think there are.
I didn't think there were, but I figured if anybody knew, you'd probably know.
No, and that's kind of a hot button issue right now because at the front end of the moorings, there's a guy that evidently doesn't live there at all, and his renters have at 3 a.m. gone drunkenly over to the next door neighbors' houses and been pounding on the doors and harassing them.
Oh, jeez.
It's not a one-off deal. So he's on a fast track to ruin it, at least for the first edition. Now, the one that you're asking about is in the 4th, which, yes, they're in the mornings, but it's a totally separate HOA. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what the timeline, if there is any, for changing things over, but to my knowledge, that house that's directly north of there is a rental as well.
Okay.
It's actually some guy that's in med school and his girlfriend, and they've been there ever since it sold, probably about a year ago.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're like kind of more, looking at like high end, and I mean higher end, like short-term rentals or maybe longer term executive corporate rentals, stuff like that. We're not trying to build a party house for Airbnb so everybody with, $200 can come trash the neighborhood.
That'd be a good way to piss off all the neighbors, probably including your parents.
Yeah, they would. What the hell did you do? But yeah, no, it's a beautiful area. I love being over there, and I'm just sad that I can't honestly get over there more because the fishing's amazing. I love fishing over there.
Yeah. Well, and right now, since the water's down, all the fish are compressed into smaller areas.
Yeah, right?
Probably even better fishing.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, so I know a little bit about the situation that happened at the house, and, we don't need to go into it. It's a terrible situation.
Well, and what we're planning on doing is, if anyone ever sends us an offer, even if it's an acceptable offer, we're planning on... Well, okay, I shouldn't say that. I don't know the exact timing, but the house is not going to close without the buyer being completely aware of what happened. It's not in the listing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and slide it through or anything like that. And it's a total gray area. I've looked into it, but we are planning on getting something in writing before it's said and done.
Yeah, I've had that conversation and with other brokers, not about this house, but just in general. I'm like, it is not a material fact. Like, you don't technically have to disclose it. And they're like, well, wouldn't that change somebody's mind? And I'm like, potentially. But if the house is old enough, somebody's died there anyway. Like, so.
Yeah. Well, and there's only been one person that knew about it, asked, and then said, okay, well, the house isn't for me then. Now, there are people that we've told, they don't care, but, they didn't like it because, people get hung up on odd little things. Like there's wallpaper, so the whole house isn't for me. Yeah. No matter the price, no matter anything else, it has wallpaper.
Oh, I used to be a residential agent, man. There's a reason I do commercial now. I get it.
Yeah. A lot of hand holding there, and encouraging that you really have no true input on when it comes down to it.
So can I ask, is it multiple heirs or is it just one heir that we're dealing with on the seller side?
When you say, heir, she has a couple kids that are not in town, but actually the property is out of their hands. It is, since it was in a trust, it is now being handled by an executor, which is some attorney here in town that basically... I mean, she signs when they tell him to. So
gotcha.
Legally, it is out of the kids' hands, but directionally, it's entirely up to them.
Gotcha. I was curious because I don't know that we could come at a price, because I was actually also looking at it potentially from a flip standpoint as well. I don't know that we could come in with a cash price that would make us money and still make the seller happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was curious about if we could come up with something seller finance that would get them more money to the pricing that they want. But I know with the trust and everything, that could be a little tricky. I mean, we could set up payments to go to. We could set up the payments to go to whomever.
I honestly haven't talked to them about that, but I imagine they're not going to be open to it.
Okay.
I mean, not to speak on their behalf.
Sure.
I'd be happy to ask them if you want to press, but my off the cuff reaction is that I don't want to use the cliche term motivated seller, but I'm sure you can imagine why the kids just want to get the hell away from the house.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I don't think they would want to do anything other than now. That being said, I have a hard time believing that any offer you gave would get an outright no and not a counter.
Okay. That's good to know. Okay. Let me throw this over to my partner that does all the underwriting and get their opinion on it. And I might just send you an LOI with like 2 options to say, yes, we're interested in talking more, or no, you guys are crazy.
Okay. Well, maybe they'll take your first offer. Maybe they'll say, screw you. Maybe they'll counter. I have no way of knowing.
I get told screw you on a daily basis.
As I'm sure you're well aware, anything you pass along to me, I turn around and I'm the liaison, for better or worse. So
yeah, and
or the messenger, I guess, not the liaison.
Yeah, and that's what we do as agents and brokers and stuff, and it is the game, and that's kind of my role, honestly. Even with this company is I'm the setup man, but my partner's the one doing all the numbers and the in negotiation. So I'm kind of the same way. I'm kind of the intermediary, so I get it, man.
Yeah. Well, and even I'm kind of ended up just being a realtor because it would help out with building, but even as far as building, it's my dad calls all the shots. I just have to figure out the facts and handhold on the back end with if clients are involved and coordinate people, but he's the decision maker there, so I get that.
How's that build to this on the south end of the lake going in the moorings? How's that coming along?
Let's see, south end of over there for Perfection.
Yeah, is that is that not you guys?
So we just sold them the land.
Oh, okay.
We sold them about 40 acres, most of which was wooded over. They went through, did a whole lot of dirt work, tore everything out. They've got half of it ready to go. And right now I think they have either 13 or 14 houses that, oh my God, they're blowing through. We've got some off-water, no-step entry homes that we're trying to get going, but we're not at all trying to compete with Perfection just because you can't. Mm. They're gonna beat you down on pricing, timing, you name it. But they've got 13 going there out of 176.
Man.
Is what they're gonna end up with. So I'm thinking, our area is pretty neglected as far as entertainment and restaurants and whatnot. The problem was that we never had enough rooftops in the area, because anytime you have a lake, that's wasted space that doesn't have a rooftop that otherwise could. So by jamming everyone in there, we're somewhat counteracting that, and plus we've been held out on for so long. I think we're overdue in the first place, but we're going to really pick up steam here with everything going along 53rd, and up north towards Valley. It's going to be exciting to see what happens.
Absolutely. Has that Mormon temple broken ground yet?
So they're doing a lot of dirt. Let's see. The utilities are in. They have their street that is in, and they've started to get the site elevations prepped. But no, the official groundbreak ceremony is September 7th, I think, or 8th, one of the two. But that's, when they get out there with, I'm sure, a golden shovel or something, and then it'll probably be all hands on deck. And now what I've heard, and of course, I will say I sat in on quite a few conversations with them, and they are far more secretive than you would ever think. They tell you what they want you to know and not really announce more.
Yeah.
But as far as negotiations, they were very straightforward. And one of the things that I did hear is that they're going to have a lot of pre-assembled, not forms, but a lot of the pieces are already going to come assembled, and it's more of a put it together like Legos deal, as opposed to the traditional build process of
really,
do everything on site. Now, I don't know how extensive that is. I don't really know what it entails, because not many people outside of Salt Lake and the contractor, whoever it is, I don't even know that. But I imagine they'll probably be done within a year, maybe a year and a half. But that's pure speculation on my part.
Yeah.
But they have the appropriate means to make things come together quickly.
Yeah. Do you guys have any rental portfolios in your family? Okay. It's all new construction stuff.
I say that. Let me think. My grandma owns the office, and my dad and my uncle pay rent to her. That counts. But other than that, no.
I was just curious because I've got a buyer that's looking to buy some portfolio packages and single-family packages in Wichita. So I figured I'd just ask you while I have you on the phone. Yeah.
No. I've thought about it. Actually, I'm in the process of building a house up in Harbor Isle that I'm going to move into. One of those off-water, no-step, full basement sort of deals, which is kind of our counter to perfection. You know, they have all these cram them in, no-step, everything's maintained. We realized it's probably about 8% more to dig quite a bit deeper and pour a deeper foundation. I mean, you're still building the house around it. It's more efficient for heating and air. There are actually certain measures that you're able to bypass that you would otherwise have to take if you do a slab. Like, there's a whole bunch of soil testing since you have tiny footings and whatnot. But our whole model that we're trying up there on the off-water Harbor Isle lots are going to be no-step entry with full basement, and then we prep the floor trusses for an elevator. So if you wanted to, you know, you're still going to have access to all, what would that probably be? Mid 3,000s as far as square feet.
Oh, really?
And of course, no specials. And so, I mean, same deal as most of the moorings. I guess some of the new stuff does have specials, but I'm entirely Harbor Isle.
Okay. Do you build anywhere else?
But, no, not as of yet. I mean, if the right opportunity came around, I might be open to it. I'm hesitant to commit, but it would take the right opportunity, because right now we've got all of our stuff stuck in basically a 1 square mile area. Yeah, we're not going any further than the northwest corner of the moorings, which is where our big storage shed is, down to the highway. And that's about it. Now, on either side of Meridian, okay, but it's not like we're trucking from Andover to Goddard to Bel Air.
Right.
So.
Well, cool. I was just curious. I came across some land, and I was like, you know, this might work for some duplexes or some small apartment complexes, but it's out by WSU, so.
Okay.
And it's like,
well, and one thing that I haven't really gotten into is the duplex game. We keep saying we need to, you know, we just haven't, because a lot of our subcontractors, they're priced so that even if we make it worth our time, you know, we're not going to immediately price dollar for dollar. We have to charge you something extra to make it worth our time. By the time we look at what our subs charge and we start looking at duplex rate and all that, we haven't had a good way to make it come together.
Yeah.
So we actually do have one little parcel, probably about a couple acres, earmarked, that we were thinking we would like to do that, but we're just thinking, okay, well, right now it's clearly not making sense, so let's wait and see what happens. Yeah. But what I've heard has been going on is I don't know who all is tied in with the partnership, but evidently Craig Sharp is kind of turning into the builder of duplexes in town.
I think Jay Russell's doing a bunch too up in Bel Air, isn't he?
Yeah. They're partnered up, but a lot of builders that have been doing duplexes haven't even been doing the builds themselves. They just hire Craig Sharp to come in, and he beats the hell out of his subs on pricing. You know, for better or worse, I hear about it from the builder side and from the sub side.
Right.
There's mixed feedback there, but you know, the results are there.
Yeah.
You know, like him or not, but he's cranking them out at a worthwhile dollar amount.
Sure.
So.
Well, that's cool. It's good to hear. I mean, I'm glad when, you know, somebody kind of cracks the code on something and figures out something that's repeatable and that they can scale. That's always cool to see.
Yeah. Well, he's built the hell out of Wichita. I used to share plumbers with him, and they had hundreds of active permit numbers at the same time between his single family and all these duplexes. You know, either side of a duplex is a different permit. So.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Is what I was told. I haven't seen it, but you know, since it's registered as a different address, that's the theory.
Sure.
Is that you
Makes
want to
sense.
have
Yeah.
Again, haven't seen it myself. I'm going off word of mouth. Don't quote me.
Will do. Okay, well, I'll send this over to my partner to have them put some, math eyes on it and see if they think, see what they think we can do on cash, and then maybe we'll throw a seller finance option on there as well, full well knowing that it's probably not going to work for them, but we'll just throw a couple options and maybe we'll get lucky.
Yeah, well, and as far as getting any subs there to make any changes, I'd be happy to, either put you guys in contact with the right people if you want to handle it yourself, or if you want me to help supervise, since I'm in the area anyways, I could make something happy. I just know, it'd be good to see something come together.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool, Joe. I appreciate you taking my call, man. It was really good to talk with you. I'm glad we got a chance to sort of kind of catch up. I guess, we probably didn't make much of an impression on each other since that first meeting.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, hey, I apologize. What was your name again? Dan Touche. Dan Touche.
Yep.
All right. Well, I appreciate the interest, and let me know if you have any questions about that property, or if you somehow come across anyone that wants to buy a no step with a basement. I can get them sorted out.
100%. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Hey, have a good weekend, Dan.
You too. Take care.
Yep. See ya.
Bye.